Hi everyone, it's Rita from Miss Rita to the rescue. And for some reason, Teddy Bear is very, very happy to greet you this morning. I hope you are all doing well on this Wednesday after Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if everybody overindulged on tacos last night. I made this wonderful jalapeno cheese bread and some chicken enchilada. So that's what I had. I'm not a cerveza drinker myself, so that's what I did. So didn't have a hangover this morning, but actually it's a beautiful day here, and I wanted to just kind of press on with our Cricut Chat. This is Wednesday, so today we're going to be working on this lovely Lori Whitlock file. Good morning, Penny. I'm doing well. I go in today for my bloods. Good morning, Paula. So they're going to be taking blood. They do that every time the day before they do the chemo. So tomorrow, we have to talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow I won't be able to do the Cricut Chat tomorrow at the time scheduled. We could probably do it in the afternoon. Hi, Susan. Hi, Wanda. And so nice to see you too. So we're going to have to reschedule Cricut Chat for tomorrow because I have a doctor's appointment, well, actually a clinic appointment for my second chemo treatment, which would mean I'm at the halfway point, which is really wonderful. Good morning, Judy. Nice to see you. Happy Wednesday to you too. And so that's good, halfway through should be great. And so today I wanted to do this recipe box, and then tomorrow I think that we're going to have to maybe reschedule for like at noon-ish. Thanks, Susan. Snow? Charlene, snow? You got snow? Where are you at? Are you in Minnesota, Charlene? I kind of think that you might be in Minnesota, maybe. How could you be having snow? It's May. This is crazy. I mean, I know it's gotten a late start this year, but jeepers, snow? That's crazy. So we're going to be making this really fun recipe box. It's really oversized. I did measure it. It's a 4x6, which is kind of weird because it's not labeled as such on her recipe box. I thought it was like a 3x5 until I put it together. And that, I guess, is probably my first point with Lori, is trying to find the files that we are using. Good morning, Emmy. Good morning, Carolyn and Kelly. Good morning. So, it's a little difficult. I will grant that with Lori. The problem with Lori's site, which by the way, you can find at shop.loriwhitlock.com. Is she's been doing it a very, very long time, and she's very prolific. And so she makes a ton of files. And sometimes, because I've been purchasing from her files often for the last at least 4 or 5 years, it's sometimes hard to organize her files and to figure out how they go together. So I thought I would give you some instruction on this. So to find this particular project, and actually may not be this exact same project because I didn't get this little bracket on the top. So, and then when I looked at my files, mine has like a curve here. And I thought, well, okay, maybe this is the one that I got. Yeah, it's possible, but it still looks different at here. So, you know, I know that she just continues to make and make and make different files. She has so many different cards, but I wanted to show you a 3D thing because I wanted to spotlight the Cricut scoring wheel, which I have in my really beautiful new, looks like an egg. I know I keep saying it looks like an egg, but my really beautiful tool caddy that I have all of my little tools in, and I wanted to show you how to use the scoring wheel and the Maker. Now, if you have an Explore machine, you're not able to use the adaptive tool system, but that's okay because you can use the Scoring Stylus, which you can put into the clamp on the left-hand side of the blade. Okay, so in this particular case, because I have a Maker, I'm going to use my scoring wheel, which is part of the adaptive tool system that Cricut has designed for the Cricut Maker. Yes, and I will definitely help with assembly because it's a little tricky. So first, let's go over to Cricut. So we're all good, right? So this is where you find this kind of a project for Lori Whitlock. It's shop.loriwhitlock.com, and I did post a link to one of these files, but just be patient and to find them, use the search feature, which is up here, okay? But be patient. You can use the search feature and type in something like recipe, and it will show up with a number of things here. So you can choose from what shows up here, or you could venture into over here where it says 3D, and you can kind of go through, but I will tell you, if you do, you can go 3D boxes, but even still, there is like, I don't even know, it doesn't even, let's see, is 8, 9, 10, 11, so there's, okay, 12, 13, so she has 13 plus, no, 18, no, 23. So it's a little bit hard when you're looking for something very particular, because she just has so many choices. So, you know, at this point, because she just caters to just a very wide selection of customers, people that use Silhouette and other machines, and she's been doing it a very long time. So you have to be patient looking for the files on her site. Okay. So good morning from Green Lane, Pennsylvania. What a nice name for a city, Green Lane, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Karen and Robin. Good morning, Shelley and Susan. So let's go to our designs piece first, and then I'm going to get you a view of my Maker, and then I'm going to show you how to put this together. Super easy if you know what you're doing. You've tried this. I've made these a couple of times, and I've also done a lot of Lori's files, so I kind of figured it out. But don't be disappointed if the first time you kind of fumble through it. Okay, so when you're importing a file from Lori, generally speaking, they come as one file, all in one. So all of the colors. So here is an example of one that she did. So I would go to upload, and you'd look at your downloads file here. And rather than, for instance, like let's go here. All right. So this is one thing that I just purchased, the Explosion Box Teacup. And when you click on that file, you notice you get JPEGs, you get SVGs, and you get two different SVGs. You can choose the solid line SVG, or you can choose this is not solid. This would be the dashed cut lines, but we're going to do the solid because we are going to use the scoring wheel. Okay, so we pull that in, you save it to our little depository here, and then you pull it into your into your canvas. This is not the file that we're using, but you will need to change this. These are the items that you're going to use the scoring wheel on, you see. Now I have selected Maker as my machine because I have different machines, so I've chosen Maker. And when I have this, the things that shows the dashed score lines, we want to make sure that this is considered scored and not cut, because if you do cut, if you don't change it to scoring, then it will cut where the score lines is, and then you'll end up with a bunch of pieces. So you do need to select on the piece, and over on the right hand side where it says there, well, it shows, it normally would show cut. When you're bringing it in, you're going to change it to scoring up here, line type. So here, because I'm on a Maker, I'm given all of these choices for line type. I can cut, draw, score, engrave, deboss, wavy, that's the wavy cut, or perforation. So these are all the, right now, these are all the tools available to me as a Maker user, as someone who's working on a Maker. It changes, let's go over here and change the machine to Joy, and you will see that up here under line type, I only have the choice of cut and draw. And if we change it to Explore, we will be given the choice of an additional choice of score. Okay, but since we're working with the Maker and we're working with the scoring wheel today, I'm going to change it back to Maker, and I'm going to show you how the scoring wheel works. Okay, and again, not everybody has a Maker, and it's not necessary, but the adaptive tool system really is a very unique feature. And there are so many tools to use with the Maker that it might be something you want to consider, okay? So let's go ahead and make this. And you'll notice here, I'm actually going to cancel out of this, and I'm going to X or hide my recipe box cards because it's really just kind of extra. So what you end up with is you end up with 3 solid, or three that are the base of the box, okay? And then these 2 pieces are embellishments. Now, I've done this box both in 2 colors and just in 1 color or 1 pattern. If you wanted to achieve the 2-color look, you do need to change some of these cutout pieces to a different color, so they'll cut all on the same piece of paper. But for this particular case, we'll just use 1 pattern, okay? So let's go hit continue, and I've loaded up my mats. I chose this white for the base, and then this adorable rose with, it looks like wallpaper. Hi, Kentucky. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Alicia. Yeah, hello. And Michigan. It's sunny in Michigan today, Susan. That's great. It's sunny here too. So, so I chose this, and then I chose this for the base. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to choose the material. In this case, I'm using Cricut Cardstock, which is a medium weight cardstock. So I choose that, and you'll notice what comes up here as far as the tools and materials. It will tell me that I am going to need my single scoring wheel in clamp B. And then just underneath that, we're going to need the fine point blade. Well, like most of you, I keep my blade in my machine, and now I used to just keep a little box, but now I keep all of my tools right here, and they're very handy to put right next to my Maker. So that's going to be easy. Oh, it's cold in Maine. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. So I'm going to need my single scoring wheel. Now, let me just show you what this single scoring wheel looks like in case you've not seen it. So I know it's the single because it has 01 here, okay? And you'll see it, that matches the screen, 01. And it's called the single because there's also a double. I don't know if you can see that, but this is a single one. But the double one, which is actually a tip that comes off and you can replace single or double, you just press this plunger and off comes the tip, and then you can put the set O2 in there, okay? And it's connected using that plunger thing. See that? All right, there we go. So I got the O1 and I need to put it in my machine. So I'm going to move you over so you can see the machine and see what I'm doing. The tool caddy's great. Good morning from Texas. Hello, Maria. Okay, so here's my Maker machine, and you can't see my screen too well, but you saw it. It said that I needed to load the single scoring wheel. So here's what I'm going to do. This is my clamp B. This is A, this is B. A is just for pens or the scoring stylus, which you can leave in there, by the way. I mean, there's no reason why you need to take it out every time, and you can leave it in there because the machine knows when to use it. So we're going to open this B clamp and take out our blade and housing. I'm going to rest it inside here, inside my little tool caddy. And then I'm going to take my single scoring wheel and I'm going to match up the teeth here. You see these teeth? And I'm going to put it in to the back of this clamp. There's the matching teeth, kind of like a clockwork. Okay? And so I'm just going to put it in there, make sure it's connected, and then close the clamp. And it's not an easy clamp. It's a little difficult, but no problem, Maria. So then I can put the first mat in of my base. So I'm on the first mat, and now it's going to go and do all the scoring first, okay? So we'll watch it do the scoring, and on this mat we have one piece that has scoring on it, a lot of scoring on it. Now, if you had a Maker, just as an aside, if you had a Maker and you wanted to use the scoring stylus instead of the wheel, and I do use this once in a while, is where I use the scoring stylus, you have to make that change on your screen, where you're presented with the fact that you need the scoring wheel, and you can make that change if you want to. And so once it finishes the scoring, then we have to take it out, right? Put it back in our little scoring, in our little tool caddy. Take my blade and housing, and be careful putting this back. You want I call this the neck, but you want this part of the neck to rest at the top. Sometimes it doesn't always do that, and then what happens is it doesn't cut through. So it has to rest at the very tip top of the clamp. Okay, make sure you close that clamp and then hit go, and it will continue to cut the end of the mat, the end of the first mat, okay? Yeah, it's a little tough. It's definitely, the clamp is definitely really tight. It's much tighter than, say, the Joy clamp. So if you're going from a Joy to a Maker, you'll notice the difference there. And again, no problem, Teresa. Welcome. Good morning. Remember that when you're replacing the tools, that they need to be lined up correctly in the clamp, or you will end up with problems with cutting or doing whatever feature that needs to be done. And this process is the same as if you were going to use the perforation wheel. Perforation tool. You're going to use the wavy blade. You're going to use the what's it called, the deboss or the engraving tool. So it's the same process. You have to change the line type, and then you have to add whatever the tool is into there. So here's our first mat. All right, so you'll see these are like either the top or the bottom, and then here is our scored piece, let's have a look at it. So you notice that, I mean, it's not like it's scored as if you had, it's not really that deep. So you do still need to use that as a guide and fold at all of the scoring places. And I always just use my fingers, and you have to follow and score them all in all of the places, okay? I like to do that on a flat surface, but okay, so let me show you how this goes together. I did cut one out before. Okay, so you end up with 2 of these smaller pieces and 2 of the larger pieces. We can go ahead and continue to cut them while I show you how it goes together. I'm gonna have to put my scoring wheel back in, and it ends up being the 3 mats that use the scoring wheel. Put it back in, hit go, and it will continue to do that. In the meantime, after you do the first one, just take it off of your mat, being careful. When you take off the mat, roll it off the mat like this, especially if you have a newer mat, so you won't rip your pieces, okay? So while I continue to do that, I'm gonna move you over to my little work surface that's right in front of my computer here. Hold on. So it's doing this scoring for the second. Have I used it? Yes, I've used all the tools. I have all the tools, and I can show you how it works, how debossing works. It's really quite clever, I think. The engraving one I have not played with all too much. It's a really awesome tool, but I just haven't played with it all too much. So I'm gonna have to get some more blanks, and I want to do that. So anyway, when you're cutting this out, so it ends up being, what you get is the 2 pieces. You get 2 of these smaller pieces, and you'll notice that there are these flaps here. This was a little confusing for me when I first started putting this together. I couldn't figure out what it was, but what it turns out to be, and this is going to prove interesting because I actually put this on wrong, is that these flaps are the bottom, like this, okay? And the smaller tabs are where the top is going to go. So see, I put this on upside down. I did it on purpose because I wanted to show you what I mean. Okay, hold on, I'm just going to switch out my mats. All right, so I just thought, oh, then this long piece goes on the top. When I first started doing this, I thought that's what happened. And when I put it together, I ended up with my pieces upside down. This is the top with these smaller tabs. Okay, we're going to put that aside just for a second. Here's the bottom, because I think the bottom is the easier part to start with. It's 2 pieces. One has this like kind of a slope, and then the other one is flat for the top, and you attach it here where there is a tab, and you can decorate the outside of the pieces if you want. Then you're going to fold it in half like this, and you're going to use this tab, the other tab, so you're lining it up on the tabs. Okay, I got brand new glue, so now it's all coming out so wonderfully. So I don't want to use too much. So anyway, so I'm going to line up these pieces like this. Make sure they're properly lined up, because otherwise your box will be kind of off, and that's going to be a problem with the bottom of the box. Okay, so there's your box, and when you open it up, it's going to, this is the way, the top, okay? Yep, you can use a craft board, Susan. The craft board is great, but what I've noticed about this particular project is that there's a lot of extra pieces built in to sort of create that thickness, and the end result is pretty sturdy, okay? So, so you could use craft board too. I love the craft board. It's great. Craft board, if people don't know what that is it comes in black, white, and brown. It's sort of, craft board is sort of like chipboard, which is sort of like a cereal box, like what you are normally used to getting your cereal in is a cereal box. It's like it's kind of like just a thick cardboard, but not corrugated, okay? Okay, so here's our bottom piece. And what you'll have in your cutouts is you'll have 4 of these pieces. They're all different size too. You got 2 biggish ones, that's for your top. And then you've got 2 smaller ones, and that's for your bottom. So the smaller of the smaller one is the one we're going to work with first. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay this up, turn these tabs inward, okay? And sit this up on our work surface. All right, so I'm taking the smaller of the 2, and I'm going to put the glue. Let me go up a little higher so that you guys can see this better. So I'm going to put the glue on the inside edge here. Okay. Inside edge. And then I am going to turn the glue facing down, and I'm going to put it on the bottom of the inside of the box. And the glue where we put it will stick to the tabs. It should stick really well. And then once you you can have to get your hand in there, or you can use an instrument if you want. And you'll see when you turn it upside down, you'll see that it has stuck. And then this piece goes here to cover the tabs. So I want to put a little bit of glue on there. And it makes a really nice finished edge. Turn it over again and use whatever to make sure it's pressed on there really good. And now you have the bottom of your recipe box. Really cute, right? So let's I'm going to continue to, I think that we're doing well here. So I'm going to just cut out the embellishment pieces so that I can show you. All right. So the top, let's do the bottom. So we got the bottom. That works out great. The top is a little trickier, okay? And like I mentioned, you know, here I was, but I'm gonna save some time and put these pieces on there, and that it didn't turn out that way. So I want to use my cutout that I just cut out. So here's the bottom that we just did, and then so the top ends up being these 2 pieces. 1, 2, and then we've got those 2 tops, right? So we do definitely need to score at the score lines. And remember, this part here, the bigger flap, is going to be the bottom of your box. I'm going to show you. Okay, so here's our 2 pieces, and we've got these flaps. So you line up and you're going to glue here at this tab. And although it's tempting, I think, to decorate with the embellishment pieces, maybe the first time you do it, don't do that, because it's easy to get messed up, as you could see. So I've done the two tabs together here. And then I do the second one. Okay. So now I have the box top connected. This is the two pieces, you see that? And what I'm going to do is then I'm going to fold the bigger pieces in, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on them before I fully fold them, because what it does is it shores up the side of the box. See that? So we can put a little bit of glue here just so that it stays connected to the sides. And this is what I was talking about, Susan, is that it gets kind of thick because it's a double thickness, and then we're going to put our embellishment here, okay? Our panel, I should say. The panel embellishment. So we've got our sides done, and it's really sturdy, really sturdy. Right. And then I just want to check on here. I think I folded this at the wrong scoring point because it's sticking up. Yep, I did. So let's refold it slightly. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Now it doesn't stick up. All right, so there's our box top. We have to do the top now. So we're going to turn these tabs inward, just like we did with the bottom, right? And then we take our two pieces. Here's our two pieces, and one is bigger than the other, so we're going to use the smaller one, and we're going to flip this over and put the glue on the edge of the smaller of the two. Remember, there were 4 of these pieces, so we separated the 2 largest and the 2 smallest, and those 2 smallest go in the bottom, because when you're making a box that has a cover, the bottom needs to be ever so slightly smaller. And that's something people forget about when you're making boxes. They think it has to be the same exact size, but not true. It needs to be slightly smaller on the bottom. And then here is my top, which I've glued on the embellishments already on this one. I flip it over and I put it on the top. And then of course you come back and you put those side panel pieces on there, right? And that's it. It goes on really well like that. It's very sturdy. I love to do this. It looks real nice as a recipe box, but then I was thinking, you know, this is a really useful box if, for instance, you are a card maker, because it's 4x6 and most of the A2 cards would fit in here, and some it wouldn't fit the 5x7, although you could probably resize it to fit a 5x7 card. But if you're a card maker and you're doing A2, this would be great for cards. It would also be good for photographs, like a 4x6 collection of photographs. And then you can use the inside piece, which is this recipe card thing or divider. And you could use, and I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? Where you can write on these recipe cards. But that is the assembly of the box. It's just a little tiny bit tricky, so be careful when you're doing, especially the top. It's a little bit tricky. So let me, might as well just cut this last piece so that I can have another full box. Okay, so this paper comes from Echo Park again. The one that is the I Love My Mom it's called Beautiful Mom, Echo Park. And this one here, this pot, I think that's like a cherry blossom, came from, I think, let me just get it out of my recycle bin. Okay, here it is. It came from Granddaughter, also Echo Park. Let me show you. The cherry blossom is Granddaughter. Okay, so these two came from there. And then the one that I am cutting right now came from one called Grandma. So these are three very different papers. And then of course the base is just Cricut cardstock, which I love. So yeah, cards. So that's the paper pack. And so my last piece is just cut out. And so let's go back to my, so is that okay, Tammy? Granddaughter and Beautiful Mom, and then Grandma and Cricut cardstock. And these are different, these are cards, paper that I got a while ago that I just have in a big pile in my spring. I separate them by seasons. So, okay, let's go back up here just for, okay, and the question about the purple mat. Okay, so there are 3 color mats. There's green, blue, and purple. Let me see, I can show you the purple. There's the purple mat, very dirty mat, and the blue. So the green is a standard. It's what you normally would use. The blue is for like a delicate, more of a delicate type of a cutout. So if you were cutting out, say, vellum, or trying to think what else, like thin paper. Maybe not cardstock, thin paper. And then the purple is strong grip. So that is for use with the really thick stuff, craft board, and also trying to think, leather, basswood. But I actually have found that the stick on the purple ones lasts a little bit longer than the green ones. They're stickier that's the difference, is that it's a stick. So in order to keep the stick going on, because I cut using, remember I told you I use my mats over and over and then I wash them. I find that the stick on the purple one is a little bit longer lasting. But, so I tend to buy just the purple ones, or sometimes I buy them in a pack with the green and the blue, and tend to use mostly purple ones. But that doesn't mean that you have to use them. It's just kind of what I've fallen into as a routine. And remember too, you can always wash these. Okay. So let's just go back to our screen to show you one last thing. And that is, what if you would like to, let's see if I can't move these things out of the way, group them, and hide them. Okay, so what if you would like to put some writing on these. So let's pretend that we got disconnected for just a moment. I apologize for that. Don't know why that happened. So let's pretend that we're going to use this as a recipe box, and we maybe want to put something like, I don't know, main course or desserts or bread or something like that. So to do that, you're going to add a text box to your file. This is a great part about using an SVG in Design Space. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to choose text, okay? And then I'm going to type, let's just call it sides, like side dishes, right? So there is my text that comes up. But this is a cutout, and I want to change it to a written text box, okay? So I'm going to go up here on the left-hand side where my fonts are, and I'm going to choose under Style. You'll notice that you get a choice. Sometimes you get not all fonts, but a lot of the fonts have like a regular italic, bold, and then a writing font. So I'm going to choose writing for this one. And you notice it changes it to a writing look. But it's not going to fit, so I have to just change it down, like kind of sort of make sure that it fits. And this is where you can kind of play with the size of the box or the font that you use. But I just want to show you real quick how you would do it. So I've got sides written on there, and now I want to attach it to my index card, my divider. So I'm going to grab it with my, whoops, not that way. I'm just going to grab this, okay? And then I'm going to go over here to the right-hand bottom where it says attach, and it's a paper clip. So now it's attached. So now you can move it all around. So I could name these if I wanted to, or if, say, you were doing it as a photo box, or if you're going to do it as a photo box, you can do it like, Niagara Falls and Paris and things like that. Or if you're going to do it for a card box, you could even put in birthday, sympathy, congratulations, to divide up. So there's, you have that opportunity to do that with any of the text boxes with those dividers. I hope that that's useful to you. So this is what we made today. We made a very useful box. It's designed as a recipe box, but it can be used for a number of different things, as we've talked about. It's really very sturdy. See that? So you don't really need to use craft board. I suppose you could, but it's pretty sturdy on the top. This thing is going to last for a long time. And with Mother's Day coming up, it might be a nice little gift if you think about it that way. And in terms of, or maybe you have a friend that's getting married and is starting their friends that are getting married, and they're starting their kitchen, and this would be a fabulous little gift to print off all your favorite recipes and put it in there, and then they have at least, a few recipes to start off with, because everybody needs recipes to make their dinner, and this is just a nice way to store it. It looked really pretty in their kitchen, don't you think? So I hope that you enjoyed today's lesson, and I hope that it was useful to you. I'm trying to think. Tomorrow, remember, I'm going to be coming on at a later time. I'm thinking it's going to be at noon, because I have my my chemo treatment tomorrow in the morning, and I can't change the time. So if you're looking for me tomorrow, it won't be at 9 o'clock. It will be later on, probably around noontime, okay? And then we'll resume our regular schedule on Friday. And yes, you're welcome, Lynn and Susan. Yeah, it is a great little project. I'm happy to help, Wanda. Happy to help. So you know, you have the experience, so might as well share it. That's what we're all in this together, right? So we'll resume our regular schedule on Friday. And then we, of course, will have Cricut date night on Saturday night at 7, and we are going to do, I think, I'm toying with, and I'd love to get your feedback on, I'm toying with either doing a group of SVG cut box cards. They're the most recent one, a grouping of box cards that Mary came out with. I'm either going to do that or I'm going to do Lori Whitlock, different kinds of cards, because she has step cards, center fold cards, gate fold cards, pop-ups, and side Z folds and all of that. So I'd love to hear your hi Nancy, hi Roxanne. I'd love to hear your feedback on what you'd like to see on date night on Saturday. I'm leaning towards the SVG cuts box file cards because most of them, not all of them, I think there's 5 different box cards, but 4 of the 5 can be cut without any like rearranging on the Cricut Joy. So if they can be cut on the Joy, then it would, you know, a bigger audience, people that like the Joy or have the Joy and don't have the larger machines. And these would mostly be assembly tutorials because they are very, very fancy and lots of little pieces. So I just tried to do the font on top of something and I didn't see the option under the style. Okay, so if we're going to do a text box, you have a great day too, Shelley. So Teresa's asking about the text box. So you go over here and you add a text box here, okay? And down here, you'll see this is where I'm going to do my typing in. So if I do bread, let's say, okay, breads. All right. So right now you have 2 boxes. You have this box, which is the result of what you put in that box. All right. And it's highlighted. So when you have that highlighted, this is when you go up here to the font and you can choose whatever font you want. And here you can look for one that has a writing style because you're going to want, now if you chose one that didn't have a writing style and it was just a cutting style, like for instance this one, you wouldn't be able to change it. So see right here, it's only regular. You wouldn't be able to change it to writing. So you do definitely need to make sure that you're choosing one that has a writing style. See, this one has single layer cutting and writing. So we can choose that one and then we can change the style to writing and then it looks written. Does that help, Teresa? So it does depend on the font that you chose before you can see or change the style to writing to be used with your pens. You could cut it out as well if you wanted to, but frankly, I've never been able to cut out a whole lot of these fonts. So I'd rather just do the pens. We can make a whole show just about writing with the pens because I love to write with pens, and I think a lot of people kind of steer away from it because that's too bad because it's so much fun. So maybe we'll put something on the docket for writing. Okay, so thanks everyone for coming today. Wish me luck tomorrow, and we'll see you after I get my treatment, and then again on Friday at 9 o'clock, and then we'll see you on Saturday night. So think about those 2 options, either a sort of a Lori Palooza of cards, Lori Whitlock cards, or would you like to do a grouping of SVG cut cards? I'm trying to remember. I think they're called like Sunshine. I would post the link, but I think it's like a Sunshine cards, okay? Thank you, guys. I hope you have. Thank you, Penny. Thanks for praying for me. Thank you, Teresa. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, whether it's cold and snowing Charlene, or it is sunny and warm. It's sort of sunny but kind of chilly here, but I'll take it. I'll take it, because any day that you're alive is a good day, right? Thank you, Patricia. All right, well, I'll see you all tomorrow later in the day, okay? Take care. Have a great day.